You may have heard of the ongoing conflict between the cartel of scientific publishers versus the Robin Hood, aka Sci-Hub. It is easy to label one as the villain and the other as the hero. Too easy, too lazy. For as much as you hate publishers, they do serve an important function. As for Ms. Elbakian, well, she chose to operate in Russia. I am not saying she is with Putin, but the next time when you use Sci-Hub, ask yourself, do you really feel comfortable that the Russia FSB may be looking through your research and more? Speaking of publishers, I want to highlight that they are just companies. They rise and then they fall. But what happens when a paywall publisher goes under? Their entire archive can vanish overnight, and at least some of the papers, along with the related research, can be gone forever. This has happened before, and this will happen again. I am not entirely sure what Sci-Hub can do about this. This status quo is clearly unjust and cannot continue. However, I do not believe the name-calling and the grandstanding will move the needle fast enough. And the lawsuits are not going to shut anyone down, not more than they already have. Yes, there is this thing called open access movement. But to put it bluntly, I think it is a bit of a joke. Just because it doesn't cost you anything, doesn't mean it is free. At the end of the day, someone got to pay somehow. Here is another joke. Let's say you recorded a song and you want to share it on Spotify. Spotify charges you for uploading it, and then it charges someone else for listening to it. You, who made the music, don't get paid a penny, no matter how popular it is. This is scientific publishing, my friend. The best of capitalism and communism, isn't it? I will put some faces onto this. On the one hand, there is this Berkeley professor who has founded several companies, nonetheless had his paper paid for from his NIH grant. On the other hand, I heard from a friend who did research in Brazil. He had to spend his entire fucking paycheck just to get published in a not so high impact journal. The bottom line, when rich countries pick up the tab, whether it is intentional or not, this translates into an unfair advantage for their own scientists, who are already privileged. Perhaps the United Nations can take on this, but let's be honest, do you really think they have the capability or the willingness to get things done? Anyways, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I received my biotech training in Canada, but left academia after my postdoctoral fellowship. I spent several years in a startup, and now I am with a decent-sized public company in the Bay Area. Specifically, Sierra Point, Oyster Point, an area that may have the highest density of biotech firms on Earth. I can't help but wonder, if I ask all those biotech companies, do you subscribe to nature? What kind of answer am I going to get? My point is, perhaps there are folks in poor countries who want to read about science for free. But then there are the freeloaders in the boatloads, myself included. How much wealth do we generate, and how much do we give back to the scientific community? I brought up Spotify a moment ago, and I think it could be a viable solution to what we are facing in scientific publishing. However, I can understand how it might be unsavory for a commercial entity to take total control of scientific knowledge. After all, it is a public good. So, What if we are not talking about commercial entity? This is where Web3 comes in. The rise of blockchain technology, cryptocurrency, decentralized computing, and DAO enables a whole new way for people to organize, and most importantly, to govern themselves beyond their geographical location. Here is a simplified scenario. You host papers on your laptop or your phone, which is tied to a cryptocurrency. People pay a small price to read the papers, and the proceeds goes to you, the DAO, the publishers, and the authors of the paper. Everyone get their fair share. Well, it's not quite open access anymore, is it? But if you contribute to the DAO, you will earn enough to read whatever you want, and then some. On the other hand, if you don't want to take on the responsibility, then okay, just keep using Sci-Hub. This is a missed opportunity on the part of nation states, but since they are not doing enough, I think it is time to take matters into our own hands. Also, this is just the first step of the beginning. I haven't even scratched the surface of what a community like this can achieve. I will end with this imagination. This will be a new form of economy, a new form of society, a new form of human progress, and I think this is going to be fun.